All right, so today is another wonderful day, and today we are going to crown our cybersecurity fundamentals training. And I believe you've learned something in this training. And by the time we'll be done today, we would have done justice to cybersecurity fundamentals. So I believe this is a great course that has helped you and will continue to help you. I am excited to be part of this class, and I strongly believe that we need this badly, and we are going to we are going to be using it throughout the journey. So today we crown it with a final lesson focused on how to clean infected computers. And yesterday in the afternoon class, you realized that some of the things we've been talking about, you mentioned, you heard some of them. Some of the things we've been talking about, you heard some of them. You heard some of the things we've been talking about, and it made it easier to understand, right? And so these are prerequisites for higher learning. And I'm happy when he mentioned that for you to do pen testing, you have to know web hosting, domain registration, you have to understand HTTP and a whole lot, yes. And so by the time we take the webmaster class, you will really know that you've learned something great. And that class is really a master class, and you are going to love it. You are going to enjoy it. Yes, you are going to enjoy it. It is more practical, and you are going to learn a lot. You are going to learn a lot, and I am so excited that we are making progress. 1 month from now, you will know that you have moved to a whole new level. You will know that you are better off. You will know that you have advanced, and you will know for sure that you are rising in tech. You are rising in tech. When we're ending the boot camp, I like the way Sonia led us to say Rita Africa, and we all said Rise in Tech Africa. By the time we are done with this root phase, we will do it again, and you will be filled with excitement that you have achieved a whole lot, and you are going to rise in tech. All right, so let's get into our lesson today, and I'll begin with a short message here. And yesterday in the morning, I couldn't give you the message, so I decided to give it to you today. And it says that there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. You have to take the stairs. Sometimes we want things so quickly and we want to succeed so quickly. But the fact is, there is no elevator to success. You don't enter into an elevator and press top floor and you just stand and it takes you there. You have to take the stairs. When you go to the supermarket, you decide whether to take the stairs or the elevator. Most people like the elevator because it's easier. The stairs will make you walk and breathe and exercise, and it takes you through the entire process. And imagine you are going to the 3rd floor or the 4th floor. You can imagine. You can imagine, yes. And that is how it is in tech. For you to succeed, you need to take the stairs and get to the 1st floor. When you get to the 1st floor, you enjoy the pay of the 1st floor. And you enjoy the blessings of the 1st floor. Then you keep taking the stairs. You have to keep learning. Tell somebody, keep learning. Let me see in the chat. Just say, keep learning. Type it in the chat. keep learning. I don't know, I love to learn, and I don't think you should stop learning. I don't think you should stop learning. Keep learning. No matter where you get to, keep learning. Be a student for life. Keep learning, keep chasing certifications, keep chasing the next level, keep chasing. And when I say keep chasing certification, you know, in IT certification, most of these certifications that I am referring to are practical certifications, certifications that will let you have the practical skills first before you can pass. Yes, I'm not just talking about getting certificates. That's not what I mean at all. Yes, so when you keep learning and you keep advancing, what happens is that you keep going to new levels. And when you get to each floor, you enjoy you enjoy the pay of that floor, the benefits of that floor, the blessings of that floor, and you keep learning. Sometimes you feel like you want to get there quickly. If you want to be a data scientist, you are not going to be, and you see the mountain and people are top AI engineers and data science engineers, machine learning engineers, and these people are doing a whole lot. And you are at the floor and you're a beginner and you've not even learned Python yet. And you see them at the top there. You are not going to be helicoptered from the bottom to the top. Okay, even though that is how we want it to be, you are not going to be helicoptered from the bottom to the top. You have to climb the mountain step by step, little by little. You have to take the stairs one step at a time, and you will get there. If you don't give up, you will get there, because the top is a height that will wait for you. It will wait for you. If you don't stop, you will get there. Put in the chat, I will get there. Let me see that in the chat. I will get there. I will get there. What you are dreaming for, data analyst, you will get there. What you are dreaming for, cybersecurity professional, you will get there. What you are dreaming for, DevOps engineer, you will get there. Cloud engineer, you will get there. Everybody, software engineer, you will get there. You will get there. So we will get there, and we have to take the steps. And so this morning, we are going to start taking the steps. You know, when you are taking the steps, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's difficult, it is tiring. But successful people are people who go through the process. No matter how difficult, we go through the process. And so today, we are going to go through the process. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is this. Do not fear hackers. All right. Sometimes when you get exposed to what hackers can do and what they do, you are so afraid. And when you don't know anything about cybersecurity and cyber threats, you are actually naive and oblivious and careless. You don't care, you don't know. But when you get to know what they do and how easily they do what they do, you can't be afraid. But do not fear hackers. Instead, take proactive steps to secure your systems. Please type that for me. Take proactive steps to secure your systems. And so what we have learned in this class, we are learning how to take proactive steps to secure our systems. How to take proactive steps to secure our systems. Because once you've done that, stay vigilant. Just keep ensuring that your systems are protected, are secured, and don't lose your guard. Always be security conscious, always. Anytime you are creating a password, be security conscious. Anytime you see the opportunity for MFA or 2FA, be security conscious, okay? Anytime you see the opportunity for updates, be security conscious. Regularly check and update your defenses. Once you've done this, with these practices, you can trust that your computer is safe and well protected. So what I'm telling you is that after this training, if you do what you are supposed to do, you can trust and be rest assured that your computer is safe and well protected. The hackers will not get you. The hackers cannot get you. Trust what you are learning. Apply them the right way and be rest assured your system will be protected and your system will be safe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start the class by playing a short clip, and I'll be playing a number of clips, maybe 3 or 4. And so let's watch them. After that, then we dive into the details of the lesson. And because of the sound, I'm going to switch to VLC, and I will play it from VLC. I think I'm going to play 2 clips first, then I will move on with the class, and then we'll deal with the rest later on.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, a consumer experience specialist at Google. Today I'm going to talk to you about malicious software, also known as malware, and how you can protect your computer from infection. First, let's talk about how you get malware. Malware is often installed on your computer without your knowledge when you visit certain websites. Sometimes these are good sites that have been compromised by malware creators, and other times they're simply bad sites built to distribute malicious software. Malware may also be installed when you download a file that appears to be legitimate, but is actually doing things that you didn't want or expect it to do. Malware has been known to do things like delete data on your computer, steal personal information such as credit card numbers and passwords, send spam email, or even attack other networks and computers. One of the most common symptoms of malware that our users report is being taken to an unexpected site after clicking on a search result. These sites are often spammy. But malware can also cause pop-ups, unwanted toolbars, and other strange behavior. To avoid malware from infecting your computer in the first place, it's a good idea to follow a few general guidelines. First, upgrade your operating system and all of your software to the latest versions. Check for new versions regularly, and if possible, turn on automatic updates. Be careful not to click on links that you don't know the destination of, or download files from a source that you don't trust. Similarly, before you download email attachments or click links in an email, make sure you trust the sender. And finally, make sure that you're running up-to-date antivirus software. If you think you've already got malware, you can usually also use antivirus software to detect and remove it. There are a number of programs that can remove the most common malware, although you may need to try more than one to catch every instance on your computer. And again, remember to keep all of your antivirus software up to date. If you do find a site in our search results that installs unwanted programs on your computer or redirects you somewhere that you did not intend to go, please let us know. Your report will help us improve the quality of our search results. To learn more about malware, please visit our Help Center. Thanks, and safe browsing.
When we use the internet to shop, bank, or otherwise use our personally identifying information, we open ourselves up to many risks. Cyber threats like spyware, identity theft, and other attacks can all happen on a machine that isn't well protected. That's where a firewall, one of the most important security features you can have, comes in. A computer connected to the internet is constantly sending and receiving information. This information comes in small units called packets, and a firewall acts as a traffic cop for these packets. It's a layer of protection between your computer and cyberspace. It decides which packets are safe to let in and out, and which should be stopped at the door. There are 3 types of firewalls. Personal firewalls generally protect only one computer or a small home network. Departmental firewalls, which might protect a small business, protect a limited number of computers in one location. Finally, enterprise firewalls might protect thousands of users in various locations. Firewalls are also available in a number of formats. Many network routers which connect computers to the internet and transfer data between different networks, have limited firewall capability. In other cases, you can use a firewall appliance, a piece of hardware integrated with firewall software. Some firewalls are software only. This category includes most personal firewalls, but some large enterprise firewalls are also software-based. Finally, a type of network device called the all-in-one tool is getting more popular. Some of these devices act as cable modem, router, network hub, firewall, and wireless base station all at once. Although these devices are cost-effective, often the firewall functions on these devices are limited. When you set up a firewall, you define the criteria for incoming and outgoing traffic. Blocking unwanted incoming traffic is the most common feature of a firewall, but a good one will also screen outgoing traffic from your network to the internet. For example, if you're an employer who wants to block employees from accessing certain websites. Firewalls can screen network traffic based on content and report on what kind of traffic is coming and going on your network. For example, some firewalls can integrate with a virus scanner or email program to screen out malware or suspicious email messages. Thanks for watching, and good luck protecting your system. Visit the Center for Identity's website for up-to-date information on all aspects of identity and privacy management.
All right. So to continue our lesson, we want to learn how to clean systems that are already infected. That is what we want to do today. And to do that, we will start by identifying symptoms of malware infections or hacking. So you should be able to identify whether your system is infected or you have been hacked. All right, so let's continue. The first thing we will do is to monitor signs of malware infection or hacking. All right, and to do that, it says that identifying whether your computer is infected or has been hacked starts with recognizing the early warning signs. Being aware of these symptoms can help you take action before significant damage occurs. So what is going to happen is that we are going to learn how to recognize signs of infections. Signs, because when your computer is infected, there may be some signs that shows that you have been infected. So we are going to look at some of the signs, and then we will see how to take action on these signs. All right, so
Hi, welcome to Delta.
I'll play this later. The first sign we are going to look out for is this. It says that unusually slow performance. Unusually slow performance. If your computer starts running slower than usual, it could be a sign that malware is consuming system resources. Malware often runs processes in the background, taking up CPU, memory, and disk space, which slows down your system. So we are going to talk about the signs, and I want you to write in the chat for me, signs of infection. Signs of infection. So these signs, when you see them, you know you are infected. If somebody has the virus, HIV, there are signs. If somebody has a virus, COVID, there are signs. So if a computer has virus or other malware, there are signs. So the first sign is unusually slow performance. So please type slow performance. Now this slow performance, please put this in the chat for me. You can say 1, slow performance. So we are looking at the signs first, okay? Before we do anything, we want to look at the signs. All right, so one thing about your computer is that You know your computer. You have been using your computer for a while. And so if there is an unusually slow performance, you see it. You should know it. If you know someone well and the person changes, you realize that you can see, right? You can see that I can see that you are not happy, or I can see that something is disturbing you. You can tell. All right. And so if malware gets onto your system, one of the things they are known to do is to consume your system resources in the background, and it will put extra load and make your system slow. So I'm going to tell you the action or some of the tools we will use. And for some of them, I will talk about their immediate remedy, and others, we will deal with them when we get to the section of cleaning the system. So first of all, we are going to open Task Manager on Windows. If you're on Mac, you can open the Activity Monitor. And anything I will practice today, if it's about operating system, I'm going to use Windows. If it is about browsers, I'm going to use Chrome. So if you are using any other browser, you need to figure that one out yourself. If you are using another operating system, you need to look at the instructions and do it yourself. But anything I will do, I'll use Windows and I'll use Chrome. So we are going to open the Task Manager to see if an unknown or suspicious process is consuming significant resources. And so this is what we can do. Right-click on the process and select End Task to stop it from running. Or in the Activity Monitor in Mac, select the suspicious process and right-click the X button in the top left corner, then you quit it. So let's go to Windows Task Manager. To open your Task Manager, hold Control, hold Shift, and press Escape. Hold Control, hold Shift, and press Escape. Hold Control, hold Shift, and press Escape. If you have done it, let me know in the chat that I have done it. So we are learning how to clean systems. Yes, done is okay. Thank you, Timothy. All right, so the first thing is that we are going to look at processes. This is one of the things you are supposed to look at. So we are going to look at processes to see if there's an unknown process or suspicious process. All right, so what we are looking for is an unknown process. Unknown process. Unknown process. Can you see my Task Manager? Please, can you see my Task Manager? Thank you. Now, inside the Processes tab, because you may be under Performance tab. I'm not talking about performance yet. I'm talking about the Processes tab because we are talking about processes. Under the Processes tab, over here, I see my apps. And now when we say apps, you see, I just opened one app and it joined. So when you see apps, apps are applications. So these are things that you are using. Later, I'll talk about Windows Explorer one day, and you see how interesting it is. So these are the apps, and these are the background processes. Some of these background processes could be, most of them are system processes, and some of them could be malware, could be. So what you are going to do is to look for unknown processes and unusual processes. Now, these unknown and unusual processes, you want to check if they are consuming significant resources. And so when you check the resources area, over here, you can see the amount of CPU that is being used, amount of memory, amount of disk space, amount of network bandwidth that is being used. All right. To focus on any of them, let's say we want to focus on memory. You can click here. And when you click here, you see that it will sort them in order of memory. Okay, so now it is descending. If you click again, it will sort ascending. But please sort descending so that the top ones will come to the top. So right now, what is consuming most of my memory? Let me check if I know it. What do you see here? Please type, what do you see here? What do you see here? What do you see here? Teams, all right. So when I see this, I say that I know it. I know it. So once I know it, no problem. Then I can keep checking. I can keep checking, and let's check here and here. Let's keep checking. And let's see if we'll find a process we don't know. So I've seen this Dykes cap. Maybe this process, let me check, is using 18 megabytes of my memory and it's working slowly in the background. Could it be a spyware? I don't know. So what you are going to do is that you can open here to see if it will give you more information. Over here, I have discovered that it is from HP. So I'll go like, oh, okay. Then I see this process. This process, what is it? I don't know. And I'm not able to check more. So what I can do is that I can right click on it and I can do this. I can search online. Either you search online or this is what you can do. You can open to your browser. Let me open to Chrome. And what you can do is that you can type it in Chrome. All right. So it is called MOUSO core worker process. Okay. And you can see that a lot of people have been typing it, core worker process. Then I press enter. When I press enter, I'm going to get more information about it. And it's going to tell me that this is a Microsoft process that helps operating systems manage the installation of Windows updates. Oh, then I'll go like, oh, okay. Please type, oh, okay in the chat for me. Oh, okay. Type it in the chat for me. Oh, okay. So this is what this is what you do. If you find a process that you don't know, you can search online or come to Chrome or any search engine and check, and you are going to know what it is. Then if it convinces you, you go like, oh, okay. If it doesn't convince you and you don't know what it is, then this is what you do. You right click on it and then you end it because it could be malware. Because malware is also a process. And if malware is running on your system, the malware will be among your processes somewhere that you don't recognize. All right. So this is one of the things you can do. Because of time, I'm going to be fast. But if you want me to repeat something, please let me know. If you want me to repeat something, please let me know. And today we are finishing with this training. And so I don't know if I'll require 10 or 15 minutes more of your time. I don't know yet, but let's see. Number 2, frequent crashes or system instability. We are talking about symptoms of infection. So we've seen that slow performance can cause that. And we have looked at some of the immediate remedies. The immediate remedy here is not a solution. It's just an immediate remedy. It is not a solution. So later on, we will give you the real solution. Now, number 2, frequent crashes or system instability. Malware can cause your system to become unstable, leading to frequent crashes, freezes, frequent freezes, or freezing. Sometimes you'll be there, your computer will freeze. When you click on something, it will tell you not responding. It will freeze and freeze. And if it happens more often, then it will crash. And sometimes it will show the famous blue screen of death. Please type this in the chat for me. Blue screen of death. We call it blue screen of death. Blue screen of death. It's a popular thing in computer engineering. Blue screen of death. When it comes to computer repairs, we see this all the time. So this blue screen, has anyone seen the blue screen of death before? If you've seen it, let me know. Has anyone seen the blue screen of death before? Of course, Timothy. Yes, it's called a blue screen of death. So if this keeps happening, it is a sign, okay? So please, don't be too skeptical and don't be too, sometimes you feel like anything that happens wrong is because of something bad happening to you or somebody doing something to you. Okay, you can be so paranoid. That's the word I was looking for. Don't be paranoid too much and don't be too skeptical about everything. And this is because sometimes something can happen and it's not because you're infected, or it's not because something is wrong, or it's not because somebody is doing something to you. Okay, so it is a sign. It could be, yes. And usually I say that security people should be a little paranoid. Security people should be a little paranoid. And a paranoid person is someone who doesn't trust anyone or trust anything and thinks everything is the worst case scenario and is the end of the world. So if you see someone walking and the person forgets to greet you, you feel like, oh, okay, so we have a fight. And it's because of this, because of that, because of that. And the whole night, you'll be thinking about the person, not knowing the person is eating fried rice and chicken at home and has no clue of what you are thinking about. And what you are thinking about is not even true. It's not even, the person is not even thinking about it. And you have spent 1 week worrying about it. All right. That is paranoia. So I always say that security people, cybersecurity, normal field security people, they should be a little paranoid, maybe 40%, because when you see a sign, think that something is wrong. Okay. Someone who is not security conscious may think nothing is wrong, but as a security person, think that something is wrong, but don't be too paranoid. Okay, so find a balance. 40, 50 is okay. All right, so please keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If you're in cybersecurity, you have to be a little paranoid for your work. All right, so if let's say the field security bodyguards, when they are guarding someone and they see a sign, they need to look at it. They need to keep watching. They shouldn't think there's nothing wrong. So every security person should do that. All right. So this instability occurs because the malware interferes with system operations and corrupts essential files. So when that happens, there'll be crashes. If files in your Windows folder, this Windows folder here, this is a Windows drive. There's a folder here called Windows. This folder has system files. When you open it, there's another folder called System32. It has more system files. This one, it has been there since 1995. It has more system files. So if some of the files in this folder gets deleted, the DLL files and some of the sys files and other files here, if they are deleted, something will not work on your machine. Let me use this opportunity to mention something that is a little unrelated, but will tell you a little about system files. So let me go to the control panel. To go to control panel, you can just open to the run box here. The run box, we use Windows R to open it. You can type control here and you go to the control panel. In the control panel, we have administrative tools here. Where are they? So inside the control panel, I'm looking for the admin tools. Where are they? Okay. All right. And the reason why I'm not seeing it is because of something I'm about to tell you. Because this control panel, this used to be our main control panel since the 90s, when Windows got the graphical user interface. We had control panel right from the earlier versions of Windows. But now Microsoft wants to change the control panel gradually. So they have introduced what is called settings. So over here, you can see settings here. And settings is supposed to do everything the control panel does, because in the control panel, that is where we do our settings. And you see Android, you have settings. So Windows is adopting settings. So I think from Windows 8 upwards, we started noticing the use of settings. So over here, everything you are supposed to set, they are bringing it here, all right? So most of the settings you'll be doing, you'll be finding them here. Now, what I'm trying to open here is called computer management, and I didn't see it. So I can just come here and type computer management, and I can see it here. And I was actually looking for, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. I was actually looking for administrative tools, and over there you would have seen all that. Okay, this is all, what I'm looking for is here as well. So over here you can see services. Yes, so services is a process that you can run yourself. And inside admin tools, you find some of the tools that administrators work with. So here we have this performance monitor, we have a device manager, we have our task scheduler, event viewer, disk management. Disk management, if you are not trained in disk management, don't come here, because if you do the wrong thing, all your data will be lost. So if you are not trained in disk management, you better get a quick training on it before you start using it, because it's an amazing place that we do a lot of great things. Yes, and if there's time, we'll learn a lot over there. Then we have the services here. This is what I'm looking for. So inside the services, when you open this, you see all the services that are running on your system. You can see all the services that are running. So if you check here on the status, you will see if a service is running. And this shows that there are some services that are not running. I can sort by status, descending, and I'll see all the services running. So as I'm using my computer, the system software, the operating system, has all these services running. You see, so all these services are running. And this is not part of our lesson, but the reason I brought you here is for us to locate one particular service, and I'll talk about it. So I'll click here and press P. This is not what I'm looking for. Press P again, press P again, press P again. This is what I'm looking for. It's called a print spooler. Please type it in the chat for me. Print spooler. Type it in the chat for me. Print spooler. Print spooler. Please put it in the chat for me. Okay. Now, what is the status here? What is the status here? All right, it's running. Now, this print spooler, listen to me, is the service that runs in your background. Maybe you have never heard of it before, but this is what controls printing on your system. If this service is not running in the background, your computer cannot print. Whether you connect a printer to your machine or not, your computer cannot print. All right. So today we are going to do some system administration a little bit. This print spooler, I can right click and I can stop it. If I stop it, it will run and stop. If I find it again, I will see that Prince Polar is not running. So you can't print. This is what controls printing. And so let me start it again. And so what I'm trying to say is this. There are certain processes running in your task manager that you may not have heard of, but may be working for the system. So the one we found, and we did research on it, we realized that it is a Microsoft process. Then we went like, oh, okay. So there are a lot of processes running in the background. Now, a malware creator can also create a process in your background, and you will not know that it's running. I just showed you services, and you saw the number of processes running. All these processes are using memory, and they are working. And they are all part of what makes your machine run slow or not. What I mean by not is that if you have more memory, then you will not feel it. But all these things are going on. They are all working in the background. So processes running in the background can cause your system to be slow. Yes, and if it is malware, it may cause significant changes, and the slowness will be more because you know your system, okay? Yes, and later on we are going to discover that some of the malware may be using your internet and maybe sending files to the hacker. So this will all show that something is going on. All right, let me try and be fast. Note that the frequency and the context of crashes, frequent unexplained crashes could indicate a deeper issue, possibly malware related. All right, so it's possible. These are just signs. Then unexpected pop-ups or ads. If you start seeing a sudden increase in pop-up ads or unwanted browser redirect, it is likely your system is infected with adware. And adware is also a type of spyware, okay? Or unwanted programs called PUP, unwanted programs. We call it potentially unwanted program, PUP. So sometimes you come across PUP, and it's time for potentially unwanted programs. These types of malware generate revenue for attackers through false advertisement. So avoid clicking on any pop-up or apps, and take note of the websites or applications that trigger them. All right. So if there are strange pop-ups on your system, it means you have malware. Frequently, they keep coming. It means you have malware, and it means there's adware on your system, which is a spyware as well. All right. Sometimes you'll be there and you see a pop-up. Congratulations, you have won $25 million. Click here to redeem it. In the past, we used to see these type of adwares. We used to see them a lot, okay? These ads. Congratulations, you just won a visa to the United States. Click here to redeem it. It is leading you to an attack. It is leading you to an attack. These days, for the past 5 years or 7 years, I've not seen those things. But in the past, they used to be very common, very, very, very common, very, very common. And there's a story I'm contemplating whether to tell you or not. Before I tell you the story or not, some of these adware on your system may be promoting real products, some of them, or services. And some of them may be promoting clickbait links that will lead to malware. So like the congratulations things, they are all leading you to malware. So the story that I'm contemplating whether to tell you or not is this. Should I tell you or I shouldn't? I'm just contemplating whether I should tell you. And when I finish, you will know why I'm contemplating whether to tell you. One young guy was using his computer, still using his computer to go through some report with his pastor or his imam, okay? And he's a respected person in church. And they were going through these reports, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was a pop-up. And guess what showed? It was hardcore pornography. Hardcore pornography. I said hardcore. Then he started speaking in tongues. He just started speaking in tongues. He started speaking in tongues right there. Because he's in trouble. In front of his pastor, this thing just showed. So he was so confused. He didn't know what to do. Then he started speaking in tongues, blaming the devil. All right. Now, most of the time, especially in the past, today we have a lot of protection against these things, okay? But most of the time, there are a lot of porn sites that distribute malware. Most of them. All right? Most of them, especially the hardware. And so if in the night you use your computer to watch those things, when you are going through a report with your pastor, be careful. Be careful. Be careful. If in the night you've been using your computer to watch those things, well, these days they don't happen. But in the past, 95% of the time, you'll be seeing pop-ups after you visit certain sites. Security, okay, we learn about incognito browsing. Please type incognito browsing in the chat. There's no time. Maybe if we get some time to talk about, we get some chance, we'll talk about it. Incognito browsing. We also have VPN browsing. Yes, so all these things are there. I'm just thinking which lesson has that content and when we'll get a chance, but maybe we'll get a chance. And over the years, I've taught so many things. So there are certain things when I'm teaching, you feel like, for example, when last time I stepped in with a cloud computing class, you would think I already prepared it down. Okay, there are a lot of things I've already taught before. Okay, so when we get to them, you will see that it's not something new. All right. So unexpected pop-up ads are also signs. Okay, let me try and speed up. Then we also have unauthorized changes to system settings. Malware or hackers might alter system settings without your consent. For instance, your browser's homepage or default search engine might change, or you might notice new toolbars or extensions that you didn't install. Okay, you might notice unnecessary toolbars or extensions you didn't install. So regularly check your browser settings and system configuration to ensure they haven't been tampered with. So over here, I'm going to take you to the browser and we are going to check the browser settings. So this is our browser here. This is our browser here. Let me open to this one here. And in your browser, please watch this. I hope you can see my browser. You can check your browser settings, and all of these things, we check them. We check them when we are checking for malware. All right. So right now we are talking about the signs, but there are some of them. I'll just go ahead and show you what to do. We will get to what to do and we'll get to cleaning. So over here in your browser, we have what is called extensions. So when you click on extensions, you can go to manage extensions. So these extensions, they are the ones that cause unnecessary changes in your browser. Okay, there's a malware called browser hijacker. They hijack your browser. They change your search engine. If you try searching, instead of Google, they'll take you to a strange search engine. And instead of what you are looking for, they'll show you what they want you to see. So if there is an extension that you don't want, this is where you can remove them. Okay. So, wow. 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 All right. So to check your browser, I'm taking you through how to check your browser. So you can check your extensions and look for any extension that you didn't install or an extension you don't need. So let's say if I don't need this extension, I can just remove it and it will remove. I can remove this and it will remove. Once this is done, it frees your system from that attack, because when the malware attacks your browser, it can appear as an extension most of the time. So this is where you can find them and remove them. Sometimes cleaning a system, you have to go through a manual process. Please type that in the chat for me, manual process. Other times you use scanners, but sometimes you use a manual process. So this is one of the things you can do. Thank you very much. Please, let's continue. Over here, we also have what is called, what do you see here? What do you see here? Settings. So you can go to your settings, and when you come to your settings, what you can do, number one, the first thing to do is to go to about Chrome. Okay, I told you that when I'm doing demonstration, I'll use Chrome. Then you check here if your Chrome is up to date. So you can see that I am using the updated version of Chrome. If your Chrome is not up to date, you will see it over here. Because your browser is an interface to the web, most of the time browsers get attacked. So I'm telling you how to solve that problem. Even though we are focusing on symptoms, I've also started solution. I told you how to end unknown processes, how to research on unknown processes, and I'm showing you how to remove unwanted extensions and check browser settings. Now, these are not solutions, they are immediate remedies. So when we finish, we'll get into the main solution. All right. You can also find the extensions over here, but this is where I want you to go to. So when you come to settings, check Chrome, make sure it is updated, because the latest version of Chrome will also help your system protection process. So please check right now. And if your Chrome is not updated, let me know. Check right now and just click on update. Check. Let me see if there's someone that will see that your Chrome is not up to date. Anybody, please check and let me know. If it's up to date too, you can tell us up to date. Just tell us what is happening. We are all learning. All right. Anybody, before I move on? Okay. Okay. So I can see you are checking. Go to settings, go to about Chrome and check if your Chrome is up to date. I just want to know if it is up to date or not. Okay. And if it's not, you can start the process of updating it. But okay, so I've gotten one person who is now updating. That's good. Now, when you are done updating, come to reset settings. All right, thank you. Come to reset settings. And over here, sometimes you will see restore to original default, and you will see remove or scan for malware. Sometimes you see scan for malware. If you don't see that, all right, thank you, Pandi, thank you. If you don't see that, don't worry about it. This is what we are looking for. It says restore to original default. When you click on this, what will happen is this. Your Chrome will be reset to the original settings and shortcuts. Disable extensions, delete cookies, and temporary site data. This temporary site data today is going to be one of our discoveries. That, oh, okay, there's a location where temporary files are hidden. And most of these temporary files, or this folder called temporary files, it is a safe location for malware. So today we will look at that. By doing this, what is going to happen is that Chrome is going to remove any changes to Chrome. So if a malware has caused changes to Chrome, which they do a lot, this action will make sure that anything that a hacker has done to your browser will be reset. Please type reset in the chat for me. Type reset in the chat for me. Type reset in the chat for me. Reset in the chat. And this is good because this will not affect your bookmarks. It will not affect your browsing history. And it will not affect your saved passwords. They won't be affected. So you can see that this is a good setting. It doesn't affect you because these are the things important to you, but it will work on the things that are likely to be infected. So you click on reset and your Chrome will reset to original settings. Let me close this and we'll continue. So these are unauthorized changes to your system. Then we also have increased network activity. If you are done with your Chrome and you are following, type increased network activity in the chat for me. Increased network activity. Increased network activity. Please put that in the chat for me. Increased network activity. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if your internet connection seems slower than usual, you see, you know your internet connection as well. Well, sometimes anything can cause a connection to be fast or slow. But if your internet connection seems slower than usual, or your data usage spikes unexpectedly, your bundle finishes, your data finishes unexpectedly, it might be due to malware sending data from your system to a remote server, to their boss. Sometimes when malware is sending data to their boss, they use your internet. And sometimes they load your files from your machine. And they load a lot of data. So if your internet usage spikes and your system becomes slower than usual, it is possible, I'm not saying always, it is possible that it may be malware sending data to their boss through a remote server. Some malware types like botnets or spyware use your internet connection to communicate with the attacker's server. So A botnet or a spyware is always talking to the boss, and they use your internet. And when it's time for a botnet attack, a DDoS attack, we use your internet. The internet transaction is used for that. Okay. And what happens is that your usage spikes and you lose, your data consumption becomes more than usual. So monitor your network activity using tools like the resource monitor. Please type resource monitor in the chat for me. Resource monitor. Please put that in the chat for me. Resource monitor. That is on Windows. On Mac, you can still use Activity Monitor to see if unknown applications are using your internet connection. Let's go to the Task Manager again. What was the shortcut I gave you to Task Manager? Anybody who remembers the shortcut I gave you to Task Manager? What shortcut did I give you to Task Manager? Who can remember the shortcut I gave you to Task Manager? To Task Manager on Windows. I didn't say Control-Alt-Delete. Hey, okay, fine. You can also use that. Okay, you can do that. I gave you Control-Shift-Escape. That's what I gave you. All right. So Control-Shift-Escape, you come to your Task Manager, and there is one of the tabs that is called the Performance Monitor. This one. But we are not looking for, is that what we are looking for? We are looking for the Resource Monitor. Okay. So when you come to Performance, you can see how your CPU is being used. These ones, we'll deal with them later. But then you can monitor the resources over here. Can you see Resource Monitor? Let me know if you can see Resource Monitor. All right, so you click on Resource Monitor and it will open. If you don't have admin access, it will tell you that you don't have admin access. If you don't have admin access, it will tell you that you don't have admin access. But if you have admin access, it will just open like mine. So what is going to happen here is that we are going to monitor the network activity to see if an unknown application is using the internet connection. Okay. So over here, you can see your CPU usage. You can see your disk usage here. And you can also see your network usage. For this demonstration, we'll use the network usage and the network monitor over here. So this is how my internet is being used right now. Right now. This is how my internet is being used right now. But I want to see all the processes that are using my internet. So I'll come here and I'll see Teams. Okay, I know this one. This is Microsoft Edge Web View. Okay, PowerPoint is using my internet. Why is PowerPoint using my internet? Which one is this? This one is mcfw host.exe. What is this? If you don't know this activity or this particular process, all you have to do is to go to Chrome and search for it. So the name is mcfw mc-fw-host.exe. You type it here and then you do some reading about it. Okay, it's a Windows process. The process known as, the process known as McAfee Framework host service. Then you go like, oh, okay. Please type, oh, okay in the chat for me. Oh, okay. Now, if you don't get it from here, you can keep reading and you'll probably see it, okay? You'll probably see it somewhere. You'll probably see it somewhere. All right. So over here, what is going to happen is that you can research on the activities that are using your internet. And if it is an unknown activity, then you know that you are infected. Right now, or something is using your internet. Right now, what we are doing is that we are following the signs of infection. So if I see something like that, I know that I am infected. Then later on, we will talk about the solution. So you can see that this particular program is using my internet by heart. And anytime you are on a network, if you study networking, you will see that you are always sending and receiving. So I'm sending data packets, I'm receiving data packets. During the solution, one of the solutions is this. Let me tell you one. You will see the IP address of what is using your internet. This is the IP address. And once you have the IP address, do you know what you can do? You can use your firewall to block it. You see, firewall has default settings. And you can turn on your firewall or turn off your firewall. But what you have to learn is how to use the firewall to block something yourself. So all of these IPs, I can block them. This is internet usage. Everything here is using my internet. And I can see that Teams is the one. See, every second is sending a lot. So this is a video I am streaming. The video that you are watching now, the screen sharing. Let me see if I pause my video, it will reduce a little. Let's see if it will reduce a little. After some seconds, I'll check if it will reduce a little. So this one, what is happening is that, see that it's going down. You see? It's going down. So you can see that whenever I turn on my video, I spend more data. Is it still going down? Okay, so it has reached where it wants to get to. So it's around 300. This is in bytes, so 300 kilobytes per second of data. When we start learning about internet, you will learn that internet speed is measured in bits per second. Bits per second. But usually when you see capital B, it's referring to bytes. So you can see that this one is bytes. And this is talking about the data that it is transmitting from my system. So when I turn on my video, I spend more. And what it means is that I transmit more data when my video is on. And someone is asking, how did I get here? Let me repeat that. If you want me to repeat something, you tell me. So I went to the task manager. And over here, I went to the performance monitor here, the second tab here. If your task manager is different, just look for performance monitor and look for resource monitor somewhere. For Windows 11, we have it here. Look for resource monitor somewhere. And that is it. So over here, you see your CPU usage. Whatever is using your CPU. This also tells you that you can check CPU usage and look for processes that are running in the background, because a process could be running in the background here and you can end it. You see these ones are local processes using my CPU, so I can end them. And if end is not working, please listen to this. If you use end and it's not working, use end process tree. Please type end process tree in the chat for me. Anytime you go to Task Manager and you end a process and it's not working, sometimes you end it and it's still there. The moment you hit end process tree, they will ask you, are you sure? You say yes. Don't be afraid to say yes. When you click on yes, it will end it. So over here, you can check and investigate what is using your CPU. I'm already teaching you the job of a cybersecurity analyst. You can see the work we are doing today. So the cyber analyst does all of these things and monitors for traffic. This looks like a data analytics interface. You have your visualizations, you have your processes, you have their speeds and everything. This is a full dashboard. This is a dashboard. This is a full dashboard. So the cyber analyst does all of these things to look for infections and attacks. So when you are being hacked, all of these things go on. All right, so we've seen this. I think one more. New or unrecognized programs. Discovering new programs on your computer that you didn't install is a significant warning sign. Wow. Some malware, sometimes I say wow as if I don't know what I'm reading. Meanwhile, I typed it and sometimes I've taught it 10 times. But when I read it, I say wow. Some of the students tell me that you act as if you are now seeing it for the first time. Some malware install additional software or create files and folders without your knowledge. So regularly review your installed programs through Control Panel or using the Finder. If you're on Mac, you can go to the Finder folder to identify any unfamiliar program, then uninstall suspicious software. Then uninstall them, okay? Any unfamiliar or suspicious program or software uninstall. So let's go to Control Panel quickly. Control Panel, you can see programs and features over here. Programs and features. So this is where we have installed programs. So over here, any program you have installed is here. So from time to time, especially when you are looking, if you're a cyber analyst and you are actually checking a system, if it has an infection, there are certain places you have to look. And you see that I've showed you some of the places to look. Your browser, your resource monitor, your task manager's processes, and you can also check installed programs. So if there's a program you don't know, this program I know, it's Anaconda. Do we know this? Do we know Anaconda? Do we know Anaconda? I'm asking you, do we know Anaconda? Yes, we know it. So when we're learning Python, we learned it. There's Ghost script. All right. So if there is something here that you didn't install, you can uninstall it. Some of them, they will allow you to install, some you can't install. So if there's a program you don't like, and please let me take the chance to talk about CRISP. As I can see it here, let me talk about CRISP. Please type CRISP in the chat for me, CRISP, because CRISP has helped me a lot. Please type CRISP in the chat for me. Look at the spelling and type CRISP. So this CRISP is an AI noise removal software for audio and video recording. Most of the time when I'm making videos to be video tutorials, CRISP allow my listeners to think that I'm recording from a powerful computer or I'm in a studio, because it will remove every background noise. Years ago, I used to wait for midnight when everybody is asleep and I do my video recording. But with Crisp, I can record my tutorials in the middle of the day with noise around. You will not hear a sound. It's going to be silent. Crisp and crisp. It's so powerful. So if you create content to record videos, especially with a computer, okay? This is not a digital camera software. It's on a computer. So when I'm recording tutorials, when I'm speaking, it records on my computer. Or when I'm doing any audio recording, even meetings like this, when you turn on your Crisp, it will start protecting you. So what happens is that, I don't know if I've installed it. I think this is a setup. I've not installed it on this account. That's why. So the Crisp does that, all right? So let me just uninstall something quickly. I can right click and uninstall, or I can just, let me just do that. So if you want to uninstall something, you can just uninstall it. So I don't want this, I can uninstall. So if you find a program that you didn't install, it's asking me to reboot. I'm not going to reboot. If you find a program that you didn't install, please, you uninstall it over here in control panel. I'm sure you know this already. Then the last one, disabled security software. If your antivirus or your firewall has been disabled and you didn't do it, this type, I didn't do it. If your antivirus is disabled and you didn't do it, it is a strong indication. Thank you, Jael. It is a strong indication that malware is trying to make your system more vulnerable to attacks. Immediate attempt, re-enable your security software. And if you cannot re-enable your security software, it may be necessary to clean the system as soon as possible. So after we go through the symptoms, we are going to go through the removal process. And you've seen that even the symptoms, you've learned a lot. How much more the removal process? This means that it's possible to clean a system, all right? Now, by the end of this training, you should be able to come here, go to Windows Security, this Windows Security icon, this one. You should be able to come here after this training, and everything you see here should be marked green, 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 green. Okay? So this one, on my other account, it is signed in. So let me see if my password, I'm not going to type my password here right now. Microsoft accounts. Let me see if I can use a normal account. Should I show you the password? Why did I say I'm going to change my password? Next time you sign into this computer, use your Microsoft account or Windows Hello if you've set up. We'll need your current password. Why am I saying I'm going to change my password? Is that what I did? Of course, I'm here already. Well, I'll sign in later on when we are done. So what I'm saying is this, by the end of this training, okay, Tell me what you see up here. Tell me what you see up here. All right. So this is giving you your system security at a glance. By the time we are done with this training, I'm saying this because it may escape me. Everything here should be green, 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 green. Anything that is not green, find a way to make it green. Okay? Because this is the health of your computer. And this is the Windows security tool placed there, not because they want to be your antivirus or your firewall or anything. If you don't have, they will help you, but because they want to tell you the health of your system. So everything on your machine should be correct, 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 correct. If something is not correct, then take action on it, because this is the security of your system at a glance. And if everything is correct, 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 and you do what we are doing and you finish doing all of them, then your system is protected. If you check this and you do everything that we are learning now, then the system is protected. So what we are saying is that if you find out that your antivirus is disabled or your firewall is disabled, this means that when you come here, you will see that your antivirus is not working, your firewall is not working. You will see it. And if this happens, this is a strong indication. And you didn't do it. It's a strong indication that there's malware. Some malware, when they come, they will hijack your antivirus software before they start working. And this will make you more vulnerable to attacks. So this is the part 1A of our cleaning training. The next step here, the next point here, it is a step-by-step guide to checking your machine. The first thing we looked at was the signs and the symptoms. Some of them, we didn't do anything about them. We just read about them just to know about the signs. But if you are ready to clean a system, you have to do a step-by-step check before you start the process of cleaning. So after the short break, we will begin with a step-by-step check, get onto the cleaning parts, and we will finish today. So thank you very much, and I'm going to see you after the short break. Thank you. All right, so welcome back from the break, and let's continue with our studies. And I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into it. So we are talking about steps to check your computer. So when it's time to do cleaning, you need to do some checks. And I want to know if you are following. Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to begin by, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a very short clip and then we will get into the rest. I'll be fast.
Hi, welcome to Dell Tech Support. There's a good chance that your computer has a virus on it right now and you don't even know it. Here are a few ways you can tell that it's probably infected. Undesired ads are popping up. If unwanted advertisements are popping up on your screen all too often, that's a bad sign. This usually happens when your PC has malware, especially because today's browsers have pop-up protection to keep them away from most malicious websites. Ads can also pop up without even having your browser open. In this case, your PC is probably infected by a malware called adware, and it is best to use an adware removal tool to see if you are infected. Your system is running slow. Your computer can have slow performance because a hard disk needs defragmenting, or it needs more memory, or because of a virus. To check for viruses, open the Task Manager and see if some tasks are using your processor at 100%. If there are some, it is a good indication that your computer is infected by a virus, so you should run an antivirus scan. Messages you didn't send. One of the main goals most viruses have once they infect your computer is to spread the virus as far as possible. To do that, they send messages to your contacts on Facebook, Twitter, email, and other social networks without your intention. In almost all cases, these messages will include a link or attachment so people will also load the virus. If you find any extraneous messages in your outbox, then you should run an antivirus scan. Your PC settings have changed. If you notice your desktop looks differently than it did the day before, and you didn't do anything to it, you may have a virus. Most commonly, your home page is not what you configured, or the icons direct you to the wrong applications. Pay attention to these things, and if you have any suspicions, then run an antivirus scan to be safe. You can't access some tools and programs. When your PC is infected, it might start to behave strangely. For example, pressing Ctrl-Shift-Escape as a shortcut command to open the task manager, but instead you get an error message. Or, if you have trouble opening a program, there is a good chance your PC could be infected, so run an antivirus scan. It's important to keep your antivirus updated. It's also a good idea to set up a routine scan schedule. If you have any questions or need help, please contact us through one of our social media channels at Facebook or Twitter. Thanks for watching, and
don't forget to run an antivirus scan. Don't forget to run an antivirus scan. And I like this video because it mentions something over here that I think is very important. It mentions something, it's escaping me a little.
Desired ads are popping up. If unwanted advertisements are popping up on your screen all too often, that's a bad sign. This usually happens when your PC has malware, especially because today's browsers have pop-up protection to keep them away from most malicious websites. Ads can also pop up without even having your browser open. In this case, your PC is probably infected by a malware called adware, and it is best to use an adware removal tool to see if you are infected. Your system is running slow. Your computer can have slow performance because a hard disk needs defragmenting or it needs more memory.
All right, so this is it. If your system is slow, maybe you are using a hard disk that has too much fragments, okay? I am using an SSD, so I don't have fragmentation issues. But if you are using a hard disk, there's something called defragmentation. Please type in the chat for me. Defragmentation. It could be the cause of the slowness, and it could be because your memory is, you don't have much memory. Fragmentation. So it is gene, defragmentation. You wrote, but I didn't understand it. So if your machine is slow, it could be because you don't have enough memory or because you have not defragmented your hard drive. If you are using an SSD, you don't need to do defragmentation because SSD doesn't use the magnetic plate. So that is fine. So that could be the reason. But if you have checked those ones and your machine is still slow, then it's probably because of malware. And he also mentioned that these days we have a lot of pop-up protection. That is why we don't see the pop-up ads. But with all the protection we have, if you still see pop-ups, then my brother, my sister, it is possible. It is possible. All right. So now what we are doing now is to take step-by-step guide to check the computer. Okay. So the first thing to do is to inspect the system performance. All right. So here we have talked a little about it, so I'm going to go through it fast. Yes. So research on any unknown process by name if they are legitimate, and any suspicious process that are consuming resources excessively. So when you go to the performance monitor and the process monitor, you can see any process using too much CPU or too much memory, and you can research on it. If it is not a known one, okay, as a security analyst, you take time to do these things. If it's not a known process, then you have to make sure you remove it. So inspect system performance. Number 2, check network activity. So I've also talked about this. Check network activity using the resource monitor. I've told you about this. Number 3, look for unknown user accounts. Please type unknown user account. Please type this in the chat for me. Unknown user accounts. Unknown user accounts. Anybody? Unknown user account. So there may be some accounts on your system that you don't know. All right. So to do that, you can open to your terminal. You can press Windows and X and then look for your terminal admin. Please use the admin. You can also use PowerShell admin, or you can use command prompt admin. For command prompt, to use admin, you need to come here and type CMD and right click, and you see run as administrator. So this is how to use command prompt admin. You can also use your terminal admin, okay? So I told you to press Windows X, then you can go to terminal admin, then you confirm that you want to use the admin. The admin has root access. So with this, you can type some commands. The command you are going to type here is net user. Please type it in the chat for me if you saw it. Net user, type it for me if you saw it. Net user, just type it for me. Net user. All right. So if you type this command, it is going to list all the user accounts on your machine. So you can see the accounts. If there is any account on your machine, and every Windows system has an administrator account, if there's any account here that you don't know about, then it is because a hacker has created an account on your system and they are using it to exploit your system without your knowledge. So this is what you are going to do. You are going to type another command if you see an account like that. You are going to type another command. You are going to type another command. Let me show you the other command you are going to type. If you see an account that you don't know about, type net user and the username. So if let's say there is an account here, Rita, and I don't know about it, I'm going to type net user Rita, the same way it is written. Then what will happen is that it will give you details of that account. Okay, this is a username, full name. Is it active? Yes. Does it expire? Never. When was the password last set? Which month is this? Which month is this? May? In May. Then it tells you that, oh, okay, this account has been on my system for a long time. Then workstations allowed. Oh, so it lets you see, and even the user group and all these things are here. It lets you see more details about the unknown account. We are talking about unknown account, but I'm using a known account to search. If you're on Mac, you can go to your terminal and run this on Mac. For Windows, we use the net user. But if you find the account and it is unknown, you can delete it with this command. After you type the username, space /delete. /delete. Once you do this, it will remove the account that you don't know. Please, if you know the account, don't delete it. Oh, okay. If you know the account, don't delete it. For me, I know the account, so I'm not going to delete it. All right, let's move on. Then uninstall suspicious software. We've already talked about this, so I'm not going to go into detail. So go to the control panel and remove any software you don't know or is suspicious. Then review your startup program. Please type startup programs in the chat for me. Startup programs. Startup programs. Startup programs. Now, startup programs are programs that starts when your computer boots. And most of them, their icons show here. And most of them also run in the background. Some programs like to push themselves so much. So the moment you install them, they will go to your startup programs. Now, previously, we used to use msconfig to deal with the startup issues. So you go to run, the run command, and type msconfig. So today we are doing some system administration. Previously, this is what we used to check startup programs. But now, if you do this, and you see the diagnostic here, and today we may come here and do safe booting, okay? We may do safe booting, but I'm not talking about it now. You can find your services here as well. I'm going to talk about startup. What is happening is that now the startup is now controlled by the task manager. Previously, we used to manage startups here. So if you're using Windows 7, this is where you manage your startups. But from Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, we manage startups in Task Manager. If you remember the shortcut to Task Manager, we can try it and see. If you are trying to visit your Task Manager and you get an error message instead of the Task Manager, then it is a sign that you have malware. As a matter of fact, you have malware. It is only malware that will do that to you. You are trying to open to Task Manager, then you get an error message. You have malware. My brother, you have it. And if you are trying to open an important program and you keep getting error, most of the time it's malware. All right, so over here, this is very, very important. This is where you manage your startups. So let's look at the tabs. This tab is called performance. This tab is called app history. This tab is called startup apps. This is the one we are talking about. Now, these startup apps, they are very annoying, especially if they are not needed. Some programs, the moment you install them, they come to your startup. So what you do is that you disable all of them. If your computer takes time to boot or to start, it is because there are a lot of things in your startup. Okay, a lot of things in your startup. This thing, if you don't know what it is, you can research on it and you know. Now, I'm looking at the enabled ones. These enabled ones, they run every time my computer starts. Some of them, I didn't ask them to run. Make sure you control all your startup apps. Teams, I use Teams every day. That's what we use at Rate Africa. So I want it to start when my computer starts. No problem, I'll leave it. This one, I don't want it to start, so disabled. This one, I don't want it to start. This one, I don't want it to start. My security, yes, I want it to start. So I have only 2 startup programs. This means that when my computer boots to Windows, these programs should join it and they should also start in the background without waiting for me. I don't want to turn off my security because if I turn this one off, the system will not be protected. But things like these things, I don't need them. I will open them, I'll open them when I am ready to use them. But they want to start when the computer starts. I don't want that. So please check this. This is also some of the things you do. Because if there's malware, the malware wants to join your startup. This means it wants to start with your Windows. Now, what I have said, does it make sense to you? I don't know if someone is lost or it makes sense to you. Does it make sense to you? Someone is typing rootkit, yes. Does it make sense to you? All right, Molo says yes. All right, thank you so much. Then browser settings, check your browser settings. Okay, what are we talking about? Right now, we are talking about the steps you need to take when you are ready to find malware. You know, removing malware has a manual process involved. The manual process is what we are doing now. Check these things. We've gotten to number G. This one I've told you already, so I'm not going to look at it. Then verify your Windows security. This is another thing you have to verify. Okay? Verify your Windows security. Start with your firewall. Go and check your firewall. Last time we checked firewall, where did we find firewall? We found it in control panel, right? So press Windows R and type control. Then go to Windows Defender Firewall and check if your firewall is on. So it says that ensure that it is enabled to view and review the exceptions. Adjust the settings as needed to maximize security. So later we will deal with that, but at least you check if it is enabled for now. Then also check user account control, UAC. In control panel, you can find it under user accounts. And what you have to do is that you need to set UAC to always notify. Please type always notify. Always notify. So that you will be alerted when changes are made to your system without your knowledge. Adjust the settings as needed to maximize security. Always notify. Always notify. All right. So always notify. We can go back to control panel. Go to user accounts. And we'll see the over here, it says that change user account control settings. Then over here, you see the slider. Make sure you are at the top. Always notify. So apps try to install software or make changes to your computer. I make changes to Windows settings. So this one means that it is recommended if you routinely install new software and visit on familiar website. All right, so this is recommended. So this one, when something wants to work in the background, you are going to be asked. So this is a good setting. Someone says, I want to do never notify. Is this what you want? Some people says, I don't want peace. Is this what you want? They say, I don't want peace. Okay, so please always notify and click OK and provide administrative approval. All right, that is it. So you check your security settings, then you run a full malware scan. Please type run full malware scan. Please type run full malware scan. Run full malware scan. Run full malware scan. Thank you, Nyapandi. It says that the quick scan, you see, we have some quick scans. The quick scan might miss some malware. Now, the quick scan, what it does is that it looks at locations where malware is known to hide. Okay, but because it is quick, it might miss some. So a full scan is essential to catch more hidden threats. That's why I ask you to type full malware scan. So use reputable tools like Windows MRT, Windows Defender, Malware-Bytes, or Avast. And for Mac, you can use Malware-Bytes. Malware-Bytes is very, very good. So I'm going to do it with MRT. And this MRT is powerful. Let's go to Windows R to open the run box. And we are going to type MRT here. And when you click on MRT, MRT is going to start. And tell me what you see here, if you can see my screen. Do you see this? Okay, someone should type it. Type this. Because this is a Microsoft Windows malicious software tool. I don't know if you are seeing this. I don't think so. I don't think you are seeing it. Let me click on yes. Okay, so now that I've clicked on yes, okay, you are not seeing. All right, so I was opening something, and that thing is called MRT, and MRT stands for Malicious Removal Tool. So in Windows, we have Windows Malicious Removal Tool, MRT, which is a special malware removal tool that is provided in your Windows system to remove malware. So without antivirus, you have this to do remove malware for you. Very, very effective. We also have Windows Defender. Very, very effective. The one I showed you, security at a glance, that's Windows Defender. And it's also very, very effective. However, if you have an antivirus, it will give control to your antivirus. Okay, because it works with other antivirus programs. So with MRT, I can do a full scan. I can do a custom scan. These are called on-demand scanning. For the sake of the training, I'll just do a quick scan because if I do a full scan right now, it will be 1 p.m. and we may have to turn it into an industry expert session. So I'm just doing a quick scan and we are going to check how many infections I have. So it is going to run until it finds the infections. So we want to check how many infections I have. So this particular scanning, do a full scan for yours. It is going to scan, you see it's scanning program files x86. Last time we talked about x86. All these places, malware hides there. So it is checking all the programs, CoolEdit Pro, CorelDRAW, that has gone to program files. It's checking everything. In SSH, there's something called PuTTY. We use it to do SSH and secure shell to servers. And it's checking everything. All right, so at the end of the day, I want to see how many infections I have. All right, so what are we trying to do? We are trying to check if there's malware. All right, so this is the second step. So in this training for today alone, there are 3 things. We've done part 1, symptoms, part 2, checking, and part 3, we are going to do removal. All right, part 3. So we have 30 minutes. And today, I don't know if I'll ask for 10, 15 minutes, but what is going to happen is that we are finishing our cybersecurity training today. And after this training, we have done justice to cybersecurity fundamentals, and you have some security skills. You surely have some security skills. If you have followed all the lessons, if you have understood everything, then you have some security skills. It's going to run again, but it's going to be quickly. It's going to be quick, and when it's done, and we'll know the final results. Let me check if there is, okay, let's read this while we wait for the scanning. So quick scans might miss some, so do a full scan. You can use MRT, Windows Defender, Malware-Byte, or Avast. For Mac, you can use Malware-Byte. For Mac, Malware-Byte, we have the Mac version. You can do that. So perform a full scan with your chosen tool. This process may take longer, but it's necessary to ensure your system is thoroughly checked. So the last step of our training, which I'm going to finish under. Okay, so almost all that I'm saying, I give the Mac this thing. So when you get the tutorial, you can take time and go through them. So you can just follow the Mac versions and you will get them, okay? So now we are now going to fight the malware. So look at this particular picture. You can see that the malware is coming and the end user has a shield and a sword. Not just a shield for protection, but a sword to fight. So this is what we are going to do, cleaning infected or hacked computers. We are going to clean infected or hacked computers, but let's check if we are infected first. And once we do that, we will start the process. All right, I'm going to play a short clip, one last clip, and we will go through the final phase of the training. So I'm going to play it in VLC so that it will be better and clearer for you.
Welcome to Dell Tech Support. Many of us panic when we realize that our PC might be infected by a virus or malware. But with careful and decisive action, removing a virus is quicker and easier than you think. It's not always obvious that your computer is infected, but there are some warning signs. Watch our video about 5 ways to tell if you have a virus to learn more. It's very important to be protected, so if you haven't downloaded any kind of antivirus program, you really should. If your computer does have a virus, take these following steps to remove it. Step 1. Enter safe mode. Open the Start menu, and then while holding down the Shift key, restart your system in Windows. In the Windows Recovery Environment menu, select Troubleshoot, then Advanced Options. Click on Startup Settings and restart your computer. When your PC restarts, select the Safe Mode option. When in Safe Mode, the internet access is blocked, but if it's not blocked, then disconnect your PC from the internet manually. Step 2. Delete temporary files. While in Safe Mode, use the Disk Cleanup tool to delete your temporary files. Go to the Start menu and search for Disk Cleanup. Scroll down the Files to Delete list, select Temporary Files, and then OK. Deleting these files usually speeds up the virus scan you're about to do and might even remove a virus that was programmed to react when your computer boots up. Step 3. Download a virus scanner. There are 2 types of scanners. A real-time scanner scans for viruses in the background while you're using your computer. An on-demand scanner is run manually whenever you want to do a scan. It's a good idea to have one of each type installed on your computer. Step 4. Run a virus scan. Run the on-demand scanner first, then your real-time scanner. By running both scanners, you increase the odds of success. One of them should be able to identify the virus and remove it automatically. Although some viruses do need to be removed manually, and if so, the program will indicate how you can do this. Step 5. Reinstall damaged programs. After the scan has detected and viruses have been removed, you might need to reinstall any programs that were damaged by the virus. Just follow the guidelines provided for those indicated as affected. Step 6. Improve your defenses. Updating your antivirus software and keeping it updated will help protect your PC against viruses and malware. Keeping it up to date is critical because new viruses are being created all the time. Step 7. Backup your data. Make regular backups of your files and store them on an external hard drive. This can help prevent the loss of important information should you get another virus. Step 8. Be proactive. Take proactive measures to avoid downloading a virus. Don't click on pop-up messages that can claim to have detected a problem with your computer. Be wary of opening emails from addresses you don't recognize, especially if they contain a link or an attachment. And install the latest software updates for Windows. Whenever you need help or have questions, you can always reach out to us through social media on Facebook or Twitter, or join in a chat on the Dell Community Forum. Be sure to check out our other videos on this channel, and if you like this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Okay, thanks for watching. All right, so what we are going to do now is to quickly go through this, and I'm going to show this to you over here, and we go through it quickly, and we will check the status of our malware search, and let me check where we are right now. Okay, let's see where we are. And I want to check how many infections did we have? How many infections did we get? After this training, as a tech professional, it is unacceptable for you to be infected. Allow other people to be infected. When other people are infected, I'm not going to be worried. But for you, it is unacceptable for you to be infected. Yes, so you shouldn't be infected after this training. All right, so let me share this quickly, and we will take the final steps in a few minutes, and we will go home. All right, so let me give you the final steps, and it's going to be amazing. They're going to be enlightening. All right, So let me share my screen now, and we will go through that. The video has told you almost everything, but I'm going to show you. All right. So this is the time for removing infections. Please listen to this. For you to remove an infection, the first thing is to disconnect from the internet. That's number one. That's number one. And before disconnecting, make sure you have your latest antivirus installed, okay? After installing your latest antivirus successfully, disconnect. And I'm saying disconnect because I'm thinking you have not yet downloaded them. So just download them first, okay? Let me not say install, just download your latest antivirus. You can always find them on the manufacturer's website. So if I want to go to, if I'm looking for Avast, I go to avast.com, okay? Don't download Avast from another site. This is where you find Avast, all right? I download it here, and then I download a free version straight. If I'm looking for Malware-Bytes, where do I find it? Malware-Bytes.com. You see how to download from safe website. Malware-Bytes.com. You download for home, for business, free. You download from here. This is Malware-Bytes, one of the most powerful antivirus programs. So download. After you download, please disconnect from the internet. Now, this is a secret to removing malware. This is a first secret. Please enter step 2 for me. Enter step 2 for me. Type it in the chat for me. Just type it in the chat for me. This is what most people don't know. Okay, today what I have done is to show you a lot of places that you have never seen before. You've used a computer for 10 years, but what I've showed you today, there are some of them you've never seen them before since you were born. Okay, now your computer has an environment that you have probably not been there before. It's called a safe mode environment. That's why I'm asking you to type this in the chat. It's called a safe mode. So boot your computer not into normal mode, but boot it into safe mode. To boot your computer into safe mode, that is what the video showed you, but you can come to start and go to where you do your restart, okay? My machine, after installing my update, it wants to shut down, okay? So yours, you see restart here. Press Shift, hold Shift before clicking on restart. And what will happen is that it will take you to the troubleshooting mode. Then you go to advanced, and then you go to safe mode, number 4. You saw it in the video. But if you don't want to use that process, you can use msconfig here. You can use msconfig. Then in msconfig, you can go to boot and check this box, save boot. It's the same thing. When I click OK and I restart my computer, it will restart it in safe mode. Safe mode is not normal mode. Okay? Let me show you normal mode. This is normal mode. This is what you've been using all the time, but there's a different environment called safe mode. This safe mode is usually an environment where system administrators and computer technicians operate when they are fixing a computer. Removing malware is fixing a computer. And the safest place to do it is safe mode. Let me tell you why. When your computer starts, it starts in the normal mode and every process is running. I showed you the number of processes running on your computer. I showed you the number of processes. If you go and check the processes running, all of these, if you go to details, you will see them well. You see running. Even processes that you don't need right now, they are running. So a lot of processes run when you boot to normal mode. These processes, you don't think about them, but they are making your computer work. Some are handling things that you are not using yet, but they still have to run because you may need them. They don't know if you may need them or not. However, if you boot your computer to safe mode, if you boot your system to safe mode, what happens is this. Only vital system files are allowed to start. Only critical, let me not use the word vital, only critical system processes are allowed to run. This means in safe mode, if there are 100 things that run in normal mode in the background, in safe mode, it is only 12 things that will run in the background. This means that a lot of processes are not allowed to start. And this means that your malware, which is also one of the processes hidden in your system, is not allowed to run. Let me tell you why. Because in normal mode, your malware may be fighting your antivirus. Let me repeat that. In normal mode, listen to me, your malware may have a payload to fight the antivirus. So when the antivirus is doing the scanning, the malware is also fighting, and the malware can outwit the antivirus. And so after the scanning, you are still infected. But the secret to removing malware is booting to safe mode. In safe mode, your malware is crippled before the scanning begins. So if you scan in safe mode, your malware has no strength. Your malware is not running and you will get it. Of course, we have very, very dangerous and serious and boot sector malware and a whole lot. In safe mode, this is where to get the malware. This is where to get. And as a matter of fact, you will get them. And there are some scanners that are called boot scanners, boot antivirus scanners. With the boot scanners, they scan even before your computer boots. And with those scanners, if there is malware that is trying to load before the computer boots, the boot scanner can also get it. Please listen to this. In this mode, only minimum required system programs and services are loaded. If any malware is set to load automatically when Windows starts, entering this mode alone may prevent it from doing so. Okay? This is important because it can make removing stubborn files easier. We go here to remove stubborn files. Please type stubborn files. And when we say stubborn files, we are talking about stubborn malware. Safe mode. This step alone is a secret because someone has been saying, I have antivirus, but I'm still infected. I have virus. I know I have virus. Then in the midst of the virus, I have downloaded antivirus and I have scanned it. After scanning, I'm still infected. This is because you didn't do it in safe mode. If you scan in safe mode with the right antivirus, you are sure to remove them. Wow. This is a secret. The second interesting thing I'm going to talk about is deleting temporary files. Please type temporary files. Please type temporary files in the chat for me. You've typed stubborn files. Now type temporary files. After typing temporary files, I want you to type cached files. Cached file. Cached file. I want to see who can spell it. Cached files. Cached files. We've typed temporary files. Cached files. Who can type cached? Joanne has done it. Thank you. All right. Now listen to me. We're almost done. Before running the antivirus scan, before you start the scanning, these are manual things you have to do. Go to safe mode. When you enter safe mode, the next thing is to do this. Deleting this thing alone will get rid of some malware. Deleting this alone. Let me show you how to do it. This is how you do it. You can go to where your drives are, okay? And anytime your drive is full, you can also try this. You can right-click on this drive and you can go to Properties. Over here under Properties, okay, on this drive, let me go here to Tools. You see the defragmentation I'm talking about. Here, I don't need to do defragmentation. It's telling me to optimize. I don't even need to do it. It's not necessary because I'm using SSD, okay? But if you're using a hard disk, this is very, very necessary, okay? This is very, very necessary. All right. So I'm going to show you what I'm asking you to find. Okay, so it seems Windows 11. We need to find it somewhere else. So this is what we'll do. We can type okay. Over here, you see delete temporary files. Let me see if it will open what I'm looking for. Okay, so Windows 11 has changed it. So if not, when you go to the drives, you will see it. Now, over here under deleting temporary files, it is loading a lot of temporary files. And please look at the temporary files on your system. The temporary files are not vital files. Most of them are files that, especially this particular one here, temporary files. Out of these ones, there are other things that I can also delete, remove to free up space. But this particular one is what we are talking about the most. I'm having 169 of them. The files in this folder, if you are looking for this folder, this one too is part, temporary internet files. It's also part. Those two, you make sure they are all gone. And sometimes your recycle bin, you can also check it if you are sure there's nothing there. All right, but in terms of malware, we are talking about temporary internet files and temporary files. The temporary files folder, let me show you where it is. Under drive C, Windows, I've entered into the Windows folder. In the Windows folder, I don't know if you can see this. Please, what do you see here? All right. So this particular temp folder is a folder that stores temporary files. Let me tell you, look at how many temporary files I'm having. Over 679. This means anytime you are using your computer or anytime you are browsing the web, cached files and temporary files are dropped here. The first thing you need to understand is that all these files, they are not important files. I can delete all of them and nothing will happen to my computer because they are temp files. One of them is not allowing me to delete because it is in use now. It is part of what I'm using now. You don't know their names, but they are temporary files. And anytime you are using your computer, especially when you go online, what happens is that temporary files are created in that folder. And most of them are cached files. Okay. Now, The reason why we are talking about them is this. The reason why we are talking about them is this. Malware is known to hide in that folder, the folder I just showed you, the temp folder. And so before you perform a scan, go to your temp folder and free it. If you want to be sure that it is gone, over here too, you can come here. These ones, you can check anyone you don't want, okay? So I will just I'll just select these ones and then remove. So if you don't want to remove manually, you can remove it like this and they are gone. By doing this alone, you have freed some space and you have removed some malware already. Malware removal has a manual process and also has a scanning process. So these are serious things that only trained people know. Disconnect from the internet, enter safe mode, delete temporary files. Then this is where you run your scanner, your on-demand scanner. So this is where you run Malware-Bytes, Avast, and Kaspersky. If you want to run 3. If you want to run one of them, you can run Avast or you can run Malware-Bytes. I will choose Malware-Bytes first. So if you run it here, it is optimized and super effective, and your malware will be gone. Check your browser settings. We've done all of that. Let's read this quickly. What if malware removal didn't work? Sometimes malware infection can persist even after following all the recommended removal steps because the damage they have caused has gone beyond removal level. And sometimes after removing them, you end up deleting system files because the system files were also infected, if you understand what I just said. So removing the malware also removed an important file. And so sometimes if the infection is critical, after doing your scanning, your machine may not even start. So there are things you need to do. All right. Okay, so number 1 here is saying that backup important files. Save important files to an external drive, external hard drive, or cloud storage. Ensure that all critical documents are stored securely. All right, they are stored securely. Then email and setting. If you use email, export your mail settings and messages so you can back up your email. Then your device drivers too, you have to back them up. Later, I'll talk about drivers. Then sometimes you have to reinstall your operating system. All right, so what are we talking about this? Why didn't we just install operating system? Because for some people, anytime there's an infection, their solution is install operating system and format everything. That is only the last resort or last option if nothing else is working. The first thing is to follow these steps and you will remove the malware. If you need reinstallation, after you have done this, you will know that you need reinstallation or not. And if after running a critical scan and where things have gotten to, it is beyond you, then you can seek a professional. Please type that in the chat. Seek a professional. Please type that in the chat. Seek a professional. But you are supposed to be the professional that someone should seek. So when I say seek a professional, I'm talking to people to look for you because you have studied about operating systems, you have studied about operating system installation, you have studied, you know how to back up, you know how to remove a hard drive from one computer and put it in another computer, you know how to put a hard drive into an external case to access it on another computer after scanning. You know all these basic hardware stuff, okay? So you are the professional I'm talking about. That's right. Okay, so reinstall your operating system. You know how to do that already. Then after reinstallation, restore your data. Then make sure that your operating system is up to date. Update your operating system because sometimes the operating system you used is an older version. So update it and your programs update. Then install your antivirus. Okay, install your antivirus. As a matter of fact, do the installation and the update before you store your data back. Okay, so that if the data you backed up, some of them are still infected, it shouldn't be, but if some of them are, before bringing them, they will not infect the machine. Then continue monitoring the system. Keep an eye on performance and network activity, like we have learned today. And the last step is continue to keep your PC clean. Please type this in the chat for me. Keep your PC clean. And this is how a clean PC looks like. See how beautiful it is. Wow. So today, when I started my lecture, I told you something important. I told you that do not fear hackers. Do this, what I've taught you. If you do this, just like people protected by God, your computer is going to be protected by this shield. And the hackers cannot get you. You are protected. You are protected. Continue to take preventive measures by regularly updating your operating system, your software, and your antivirus. There are three things to update: your operating system, your applications, and your antivirus. Continue to use strong passwords and 2FA and MFA, and schedule regular scans. If you watch the video said, and don't forget to run an antivirus scan. It means that once a while, at least once a month, schedule it that your computer by itself should run a full scan when you are asleep. Schedule it once a month. Just make sure that on the day of the scanning, the machine doesn't fall asleep when it is scanning. You know what I mean? And always make sure that you have a real antivirus program running on your PC. Please tell me, have we done justice to cybersecurity fundamentals? Have we done justice to cybersecurity fundamentals? Have we done justice to cybersecurity fundamentals? Yes, we have. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. We have a lot to learn, and we'll keep learning every day. Thank you.